Actually, I'm going to do a part 2 because I ended part 1 saying something that maybe is the most important. Oh, I don't know if this could be heard. It's quite breezy. I ended up saying something really quite important, which I do think is the key to it all, which is, so as I was saying, I mean, I've got to do part 2. To go off, to actually attempt, age 22, an honest communication with my daughter after she'd been used as a weapon for over 10 years. She was still being used as a weapon against me, even though I had no life with her, aged, and there's never been one word. Listen to the audio I've made just half an hour ago. Not one word. Nobody would ever dare suggest anything sexy in respect to me ever. I mean, that's the amazing thing. The revolting Addams family, never once. They wouldn't quite stoop that low because they knew that my love was so powerful I could battle through what I had to battle through 2002 to 4-5. But you see, here's the key. Here's the very, very important thing. Now, I hope if you're a litigant, you will know. I mean, if you ended up in the Court of Appeal, or I think in the High Court, on the day's business, it will say the cause list. Now, I do causes. I do environmental causes. Family law is just so insane nowadays. But your cause, whatever it is, okay, your cause. The older you get. But also, I have spent a lot of time. In fact, the one thing that doesn't upset me, that I kind of slightly regret, so I have to keep repeating it, this 2006 thing that I did. It ended up probably actually benefiting more women than men. And me, myself, I actually did more Mackenzie friending or lay legal work for women. I'm not a father's rights activist, or I haven't been. I was an let's treat both the sexes equally, because that's for both of their benefits. If a kid is spending plenty of time with dad, unless dad's a potential axe murderer, that's better for mum, because mum's got time free to work more, etc. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to... But here's the thing. Okay? You just realise it's all just a game. All of it. And I'm older and more serious, that you just realise, read some bloody decent literature, which actually is good for you. Okay, it's all a game. It's all a game. And the key is, if you're going to win the game, and if the game ain't going to destroy you, is you must not take it personally. Meaning, even if the other person, or perhaps other people, have behaved terribly to you, it's society and the legal structure that we have. The legal structure we have essentially is almost like pitting the Christians against the lions for the fun of the people. Read Nils Christie, A Suitable Amount of Crime. That will show you that actually so much of our legal structure is artificial. They do it very differently in other countries. But keeping to the point, okay? That's the key to it all. The key to it is not taking it personally. Even if you're having years of horrible behaviour towards you that is so agonising, don't take it personally to yourself. And also, you don't personally hold it against the person or people. There'll always usually be more than one person anyway, if it's your ex-partner or whatever, but it'll just as much be their parents who they're having a cup of coffee with, who should know better, who should be saying, no, there's a grandparents, if it's a children's case, should be saying, look, you lot, you need your heads banging together, there's no reason for this to carry on, find a better way. No, unfortunately, I've seen this, I've been horrified, frankly, even 20 years ago, helping 30, 40-year-old litigants and I'd always try and copy in their parents. In other words, we'd have a coffee, a meal, whatever. They couldn't even fucking say, look, find a way, you know? I mean, some of them were okay, but it's like, no, it's the whole of our culture is about not finding solutions between people's at odds. I mean, if I sound passionate, I have no education, and my parents happened to be a little bit for a while, kind of pretended to be upper class, but I hated them. I didn't hate them. I divorced myself early, but I leave on Radio 4 most of the day just to keep me informed, because you do need to know about the world, and I'll listen to the Archers. So you could call the Archers poshy senders. I haven't had a television for 25 years. And the Archers, they're continually fucking at each other's throats. Okay? Complete psycho drama. You know, even the local nice chap, Village Bobby, is like a psycho and just can't not. He's actually at the moment blaming some guy who had an accident and his sister had a miscarriage some years ago, and that guy's just got his girlfriend pregnant. So the cop is like, it's not fair. He caused my sister's miscarriage, and yet he's going to end up having a baby. It's like, you know, everything in this country is fucking psychodrama. But as I say, I shall end it again. Because I don't have any anger. I have only pure zen and peace in me. And really, that's actually true. Okay? You mustn't take it personally. You mustn't take it personally against you. And you mustn't hold it personally against whoever's attacking you unjustly. And that's the key. You just have to look at it all in the abstract, because otherwise, if you're taking it personally, or making it personal, or keeping it personal, you have to try and find a way to stop it being personal. And because if it's personal, that just drains you of energy. So, I mean, most litigants who rightly try and fight their causes, whatever, but they actually do give up because they're exhausted. They're emotionally exhausted or whatever, okay? So it's like just keeping it in the abstract, okay? This is just, society is universally bonkers. The system, or the authority, by which I mean the whole of the system, from the academics who design systems, to Whitehall, to government, to lowly courts, to the court officer, the whole, and people like Kafka's social workers, even school teachers, the whole of the fucking system is profiting from your unfortunate conflict or whatever dysfunction that happens to randomly have come along in your life. And their job, almost all of them, in law, their job description is to assist you to a soft landing. That's what the 1986 Children's Act says, just one of many examples. That's what the lawyers who are under the I think they've changed the name, but 20 years ago they had the relate lawyers who were accredited to relate. There was a specific accreditation, which was a very important accreditation, and they could only get that accreditation if they had internal policies that guided litigants that came to them, solicitors, into I think it was Family Law Association, that were nice and fruity, juicy and cuddly, and aiming towards mediated solutions. So they got this credential, they put the stamp on their letterhead and on their advertising. Not one of them I met ever fucking did it. Okay? That's fraud. That's trade descriptions. They should all be in jail for that. But don't think the system's ever going to help you. Okay? Unfortunately. But the system's job was set up to assist you in soft landing. So, yeah, don't take it personally. The whole thing has always been, the whole of society, well, it's because they benefit, and then the media benefit from you being at odds. If something goes really, really weird, they'll get a few extra eyeballs, you know, blah, blah, blah. But So yeah, I'm repeating myself now. So it's quite good that. You see, that actually is the key to what I managed to do. And okay, I was a kind of philosophical, quite lone person in this world. I guess maybe I had the advantage. I wasn't used to taking things personally. But when bad stuff happened to me from 2002, out of the blue, I didn't really. Oh, fucking hell, it hurt. I couldn't believe it. Somebody who I'd had a loving relationship with for a few years, and like started to say nasty things. You'll have to listen to my audio, okay? Or I've made quite a few, okay? It's like, oh, that hurt. It still does hurt, but it's like I managed to keep it. I understand. It's not her personally, and then other people personally. It's just society's brainwashed them to be twats, and all of the people. All sorts of people who should have been there guiding them to, look, aim for a soft landing. That's better for you too. Because even those who beat you, let me put this. Just remember the following. I'm sure I can't stand Christianity. It's awful, but I'm sure something like this is even in the Bible. Okay? Even if you lose, and I'm not talking about fucking Jesus, okay? If you lose, if you did the right thing, and the victor does the wrong thing, you'll have a kind of happier life than they will, because sooner or later, that evil that they did, or call it what you want, that badness, it eats people away from the inside. Sooner or later, it will end up causing them harm. So it's, yeah, as I said, you just try and treat it all as it's in the abstract, and because that's how you survive it, and that's how you survive even when the worst of pain is inflicted upon you over and over. But this lass, on behalf of who I'm making this, I've got to test, but I suspect she is just very special. But don't tell her that, because being told is special goes to your head, and it's not very good for you at the end. It's better to be in fighting mode, and most of the time, over and out. See, I never thought I'd be wandering happily on the moors 16 and a half years ago, but I survived the worst, as will you.